Okay, so just a bit of fun again today as a warm-up before client work. This is a shot I took in Tam Coc, Ninh Binh, Vietnam. Absolutely incredible place. Loads of these tiny little hills and mountains. Kind of reminds me of Mr. Pandaria from World of Warcraft. So, going to see what it looked like if there's some like big structure coming from the top of those hills there. So let's go. So I'm going to apply my paint Dobbs filter. Again, this is just for fun. It's a bit of a cheat painting over photos, but I kind of like it as a experimentation for coming up with ideas and stuff. So you can just use the values and the tones that are already on the canvas, and then just exaggerate the forms. Right, so I'm going to add a multiply layer, and then I think I want to darken up this foreground some more, just to kind of frame our composition. And again, it kind of shows maybe there's like another mountain behind me, you see? It's causing like some sort of cast shadow. And I might even add some epic clouds to the sky as well. Let's do that now. I've actually just got an idea in my head. I know what I'm going to do now. I love it when that happens. So let's bring in some dark values for the clouds. Again, you've got to adhere to the rules of perspective. The clouds further away are going to be flatter, like this, and then the clouds above you are going to have more shape to it, like this. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to have these mountains piercing through some clouds. I think that will look pretty epic. So let's bring in a cloud coming in down here, and then I'm going to have this rock, or maybe not a rock. I'm going to turn it into some sort of building, some sort of piece of architecture. Might be a fun idea. Just going to roll with it. I've got no real idea in my head other than what I just said. I'm just going to kind of just keep painting and then just see what happens. It's all mostly instinctual. Okay. So I've got to think about this. So that cloud is going to be quite dark because I want to show that it's quite close. Let's flip the canvas. Maybe in the background here we can have some nice flat clouds just to sell that perspective. Maybe one here and one there. I'll keep this to about 30 minutes and then call it a day after that. Alright, so let's get a different brush, probably something like this. And then I want to bring this kind of up here. Again, sticking to perspective, so things are going to look like that, not flat. Because we're looking up at this structure. And then that's disappearing into the clouds and then reappearing there. Excuse me. That's too thin. Doesn't look like that is even possible. So I'm going to thicken it up a little bit. Maybe add another one here. It's just kind of like Lord of the Rings Vietnam. Bring those tones up so we can get some three-dimensionality to the composition. And then I'm going to come back in with this cloud brush. There it is. With a lighter value. Just to show that there's cloud piercing through this structure here. Cool. Alright, let's play with these values a little bit more. So, colour pick from there. Darken up those values. Push that rock formation up just a little bit. Maybe we could even have a rolling green hill here. I might even increase the light coming through this way, although it might be a little bit too much if I do that. Maybe if I add some more. Yeah, no, the contrast of the shadow there and then the light does the job, so I won't really need to increase the light anymore. But yeah, Tamcock, such a beautiful place. It's incredible. It's like the landscape there is unique to Vietnam. It's very cinematic. And I love these kind of moody, cloudy days as well. They're great. Right, so what am I going to do with this? I love that. That straight away, that's like... looks so epic. It's what I love about painting. This is what goes on in my head when I'm looking at stuff. I'm like, wow, what would it look like if it looked like this, and kind of, and then to be able to actually create what you're looking at inside your mind's eye. It's good fun. So I think the light is basically coming down this way. So maybe I'll add some of these light values to this rock face. Just use like a bit more of a textured brush for that. Bum, bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. What should I use? Something like this, maybe? Yeah. Bring up that green foliage. Maybe bring in some light. Up here. Same there on that one. I think maybe, could we have like some sort of like connecting bridgeway. And you know what? We can do that. We can do whatever you like. It's your little world. Bob Ross. Absolute legend. Massive inspiration. Oops. Wrong button. Let's drop this angle a little bit more sharply here. Just to get that perspective. Oops. Same with this, that's a little bit too steep. And doing these are great because when it comes to like actual painting from scratch, this gets you familiar with different colour palettes. You know, if I wanted to create my own Vietnam scene, I'm familiar with the colour palette, all these like muted colours. Like nothing ever gets too saturated. So you need to learn from these photo paint overs and photo studies. And it will then in turn improve your client work and your personal work as well. Maybe we could add some more prominent hills in the distance. Use the lasso tool and that's going to get you a nice hard edge. Like that. Maybe some more here. Oh, that's too. If you look at the shape language, it's quite rounded and smooth. And then we'll push this up a little bit. Like that. Maybe get rid of that little white gap there. Just paint over it. Like that. And then maybe another one coming down here. So the difference between clouds and mountains is the edge. Obviously the mountains have quite a hard edge to them. So make sure you can differentiate from your clouds and your mountains just using edges. Edges are your friend. Let's have a cloud coming in there. Or some like mist, if you will. It's going to increase the scale. See, already that looks bigger. Looks more of a large structure because you've got elements of fog and cloud coming in like this. Right, let's block off that top, maybe darken the, yeah, so we'll darken the value at the top a lot because again that's going to frame off our, oops, what the hell did I just do there? That's going to frame off our composition nicely. So stuff like this I just do for fun for like Instagram videos, and it's a good little warm up for starting my client work. Got to do a bunch of guns today. That's always fun. Right, let's make sure we get some flat clouds in there, just to show some perspective. How long's it been? 15 minutes, wow. Must be getting better. And I think maybe I'll put a little man, a little silhouette down there. Just to give it some, just has to be a little blob. That's all it's got to be. I think the value is probably a little bit too dark, so I'll add some lighter values and then a shadow like that. Just painting some more hills. I might have some grass. I've got a fun little grass brush here. We can easily add in some blades of grass in the foreground here, just to give that depth to the painting. Maybe, should we add some pink flowers as well, because then that will create a focal point down here. Let's do that. So yeah, that'll do, that kind of pink. Let's add them in here. Maybe we can set it to color dynamics and then increase the hue and the saturation jitter. And then each brush stroke then is going to be different tones of light and dark. So that's a nice little cheat to get that painterly look. Shall we have a dragon in the sky? Shall we have a dragon? Or maybe like an old airship? Let's have an old airship. Why? Because we can. So maybe... I always do spaceships, don't I? But we're going to do like an old fantasy style airship with like a... I don't even like that. I'll keep at it though. It could work. Let's have like a... some sort of tail. It's probably going to have to be smaller, I think. Let's flip it. How long's it been? Almost 20. Yeah, screw it. I'll keep this in. And then we can add some cross contour lines to describe the shape. Like that. Maybe like some sort of rudder, I don't know. And then some ropes holding it up. And then some light hitting the side there. Does it look good? I don't know. Oh, slightly better like that for some reason. Nice. And then let's add some subtle little highlights on the clouds. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Merge it all. Use the mixer brush. Maybe we can have a little bit of light reflecting on this here, just so it stands out compositionally. Yeah, this is fun. The mountains receding into the background. So we've just made this landscape. It was epic in real life, but now we've took it up to a fantasy level of epicness, just for a bit of fun. And maybe I'll extend this pathway. So there's a pathway coming down there. It would be cool if we can kind of show it, like hints of it extending up to here. So then the eye is going to follow that line and it's going to take you up to the top like this. Don't know how you get from there to there. Maybe you have to climb up it, but don't really care about stuff like that. If this was an official piece of art for a game, then you would definitely have to think about that. But since this is just for fun, I'm not going to worry about stuff like that. Okay, nice. Yeah. Right, actually, I'm going to thicken this up a little bit, because it looks like it can easily fall apart. Maybe that's why it looks cool, I don't know. Maybe that's why it's fantasy. See, I do like to employ a little bit of realness in my... I do like to think practically about things, like almost like an engineer. Like, would that actually be able to stand up right? Like, maybe we could have some sort of connecting elements to it. I don't know. Whatever. Just giving you an insight into my mind. Makes the world absolutely fascinating. Like I said, this was already good enough of an incredible site, but it's just fun to kind of push it a little bit further. Alright, not sure I like the blimp there, but who cares, just a bit of fun. So thanks for watching this video. I'm going to do a couple more of these. They're good fun, good way to warm up before client work. So feel nice and limber and creative, ready to start the day. So thanks for watching, see you in the next one. Mm-hmm.